All right. Hey, everyone. I'm here with Dave Schwab. Hey, Dave.
Hello, Jen. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Really good, really good.
Good. And Dave's with Prime Lending. So we thought we'd get a quick mortgage update. Now, I know, Dave, that a lot of people are asking now, like with all the lending and stuff changing, like how much do we really need down for a down
Yeah,
payment?
yeah, I get that question all the time, as I'm sure you do
So
too.
do I. I'm like,
Yeah,
let's call Dave.
right, right. So you have a few products that really don't require any down payment, which are like USDA loans, which are in rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have veteran loan, VA loans don't require any money down. Um, but really, you have your FHA that only require 3.5% down.
Mm-hmm.
But there are conventional options that only require 3% down, and those are through.
Instead of, wasn't it normally 3.5?
It's actually so 3.5 FHA and then 5% conventional.
Okay.
And yeah, these allow for people just to put down 3% on a conventional loan.
And that's 3% of the purchase price.
That's correct.
Okay. Plus their closing costs.
Yeah, and obviously, if you have a good agent like yourself, you can negotiate to have some seller paid closing costs, and the programs allow for that.
Okay. So tell us about because I know we've had a couple of buyers that
Yeah,
qualified for different programs. And
sure.
what were they and what's the,
So yeah, Fannie Mae has Home Ready, and
okay.
Freddie Mac has Home Possible. They're both very, very similar
Those
programs.
names are very similar.
Yeah, yeah, as
Okay.
they should be. Yeah, they're very similar programs. They both require only a 620 credit score, but your sweet spot really comes in at about a 680
Okay.
and up. Some benefits, obviously, aside from, hey, I only have to put down 3%. They give a break on the mortgage insurance that's required.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they
good
give.
because that can be another 100 or $150 or more per month, right?
Yeah, they definitely give a break on that to reduce
Okay.
how much somebody would have to pay.
Okay.
Um, I would say the mortgage insurance premiums that are charged are more in line with somebody putting down 10% as opposed to putting down 3%, which is awesome.
Wow, that's great.
Um, yeah, you can even do like an MI buyout, which means that rather than paying monthly, at closing, you just pay like kind of a lump sum, which would vary on the sales price and things like that. But really, you can buy yourself out of mortgage insurance and only, you've only put down 3% on
But a
the
lot of
purchase.
these people getting these loans, I mean, that would require cash, right? Or to
Yeah,
buy
I
it
mean,
out.
there's some other things they allow for other products to come in, like grant money and things like that. But for the most part, yeah, it's just your down payment, just the cash that you have saved up. Um, in addition to, a lot of people feel like, hey, wait a second, that program's only for like a first time home buyer. That's not
Mm-hmm.
the case.
Oh,
Yeah, so they've updated that. You don't have to be a first time home buyer. If you are a first time home buyer, which I believe it's if you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years,
mm-hmm.
you do have to take um, a education piece, kind of a qualifying piece of it. On
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Mac's program, the Home Possible program, you just simply go to a website and participate. It literally probably takes 20 minutes, if that. You answer some questions on the home buying process and kind of on the mortgage. Once you're in it, just a little. It's actually great information. The Fannie Mae Home Ready actually requires you to go to what's called Framework, and you have to pay like I think it's like $75 for the class. But
Okay.
it's still both of them are
And
really great.
what's the result like after the class? Then you get what?
Just get a certificate. You
Okay.
provide it to us, and then that's just kind of one piece of the puzzle.
In
That
order to get those, in order to
put
have the
down
lower down payment and
exactly.
in order to have like some of the reductions on the private mortgage insurance
That's
piece.
exactly right. Yeah, it's
Got
just
it.
one of the items that's required. Just like if you provide pay stubs and W-2s, you'd have to provide a certificate indicating that, hey, you know what, I've done this,
Right.
this education piece.
Okay,
So
so that makes sense. So
yeah.
we're saying that now, pretty much, depending on where you are, the minimum is
Mhm.
somewhere around 3% potentially, depending on the loan product that you have to have down. So on a
Yep,
$100,000 house, that's like $3,000.
that's exactly right.
Plus you're getting closing costs with, I know with prime lending, the closing costs are very low.
Very low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we can negotiate that with the for the seller to pay some of that, and there's different
sure,
ways to do that, so it just kind of depends.
for sure.
And then your loan, there's, it sounds like, if you, depending on your credit score, and I'm sure like your income to debt ratios and things like that, you may be able to get like one of these home possible and home ready
Exactly.
loans. Okay.
Yeah, and the only other, so aside from the education piece that you have to do,
Mhm.
that I explained, there's an income piece of it, which is just on qualifying income. It's not on household income.
Okay.
And you just have to be at or below 80% of the median household income in that area.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have typically the median household income in this area is somewhere between $77,000 and $80,000.
Mhm.
And I think 80% of that falls right around $64,000.
Okay.
Um,
A year.
and yeah, and each of
Mhm.
them, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, use their own kind of data to come up with that figure. So
Okay.
someone that maybe doesn't qualify based on income for the Freddie Mac may qualify for Fannie Mae. And
Okay.
the reason I said qualifying income and not household income is a lot of products like this require, if you even have a kid in the house that has a job, that's part of the, household income.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sure the
so yeah,
child's not going to be happy to hear that.
yeah. So what you have is, in this case, if you have a husband and wife, one of them makes, $150,000, the other one makes 60,000, and the person that makes 60,000 is the one that's on the loan, they would qualify for this product. Pretty neat.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. So I think it just sounds like there's a lot of different options, and it really depends on, I mean, everybody's situation is completely different.
sure,
So, yeah, so our recommendation is always to go ahead and call you, and you're going to look
absolutely.
at credit, you're going to look at income. I mean, you're going to look at all the factors and be able to tell which product is going to be the best,
That's
along
exactly
with
right.
what the down payment is that's going to be the best.
That's exactly right. You got it. Yeah, the best thing to
Awesome.
do is just, yeah, everybody has a different situation. There's kind of a loan out there for everybody, and this is just
Right.
one of the other pieces of the puzzle that can help to, have people decide what would be the absolute best for them.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.